Deepak, over to you.
Sure. Just a sec. I'll share my screen. Great. I hope you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Great. So, hi everyone. I'm Deepak, and thank you, Vidya, for the introduction. It was really nice to hear all that. And our topic for today is agentic automation. So, as many of you have been seeing this buzzword going on right now, like what is agentic automation, what are agents, how we can use them, how we can utilize agents in our automation workflow. So a lot of things have been going on. So today we will see like how we can what agents are basically and how we can create agents through UiPath. Like in UiPath, we have a capability of autopilot through which we can directly create agents through prompt and use that in our processes. So we'll be seeing that a lot today. We'll just create a small dummy bot in front of you and we'll see how it works and how we can utilize that. So stay tuned for that. We'll be doing that. Moving forward, introduction. Hi everyone, I'm Deepak, a senior IP developer at FCM, and other things you still know about me, I think. So let's just start simple. So let's just start by understanding like what agents are actually and how the technology is growing from time to time. So because earlier we didn't have any kind of automation capabilities, then the RPA came, like the robotic process automation, then now the agentic is there. So how this transition is happening and what these things are, like what is RPA and what is agent. So let's just start with that. Let's just try to understand what agents are actually. So for example, we are taking an example of car here. So you'll see in the picture, like there is a kid who's playing with a car and you can see like this is a manual car. So like when we were kids, we used to play with car and the manual car was the one which didn't have any mechanism in that. We just have wheels and a body on the top and we just have to push it to run it. So this is the starting point, like where everything was dependent on human effort. So as a human, I had to push that car to make it run, and that's where the thing were, like at the start everything was happening manually. So in this example, like the boy is pushing the car, if there is any hurdle the boy has to apply the manual effort to pick it up, take the car back and push it again to run it. So this kind of characteristics entirely depend on the movement of the user. So in this scenario the boy has to do everything is dependent on a human or a manual intervention. There is no automation, no intelligence. Every action is manual in this. So if the child doesn't push the car will not move forward. So this is a simple example like how manual thing works. Like if you take an example of a corporate life, like take example of finance. So everything was being done through pen and paper. Like if we have like data to sort out, like there are thousands of data, we want to sort that out, there were no Excel. So what will we do? We'll just keep like notebook and pen in our and make notes on that, make calculations how we are doing that. So this was the starting point. So now in context of automation, this is no automation at all because everything is being done manually. In automation, our major task is to automate things so that it can run without human intervention. It can do certain things without human being able to push it for that. So this in this context, it is no automation at all. And then a stage came where the remote control cars are there. So remote control car is RPA in the context of automation. So this is the example, the first step toward the automation, because in this we don't have a user, like a person don't have to push a car or lift a car and take it back and then push it again. In this we have a remote. We can just press the forward joystick and move the car ahead, press the back joystick and take the car back. So in this, we are passing instructions for it to run. So in this, the human is not directly interacting with the car, but we are just giving it commands like go ahead, go back. So this is an example of an RPA. Like this is how RPA works. The process automation. We have automated some things. There is no human power required in this. We are just navigating it how to do that. So human is at the back end of it, but human is not pushing everything. They are just commanding. Like this remote control car, we are just commanding it go right, go straight, come back. So this comes under an RPA process, which is robotic process automation. What are the characteristics of it? The car follows the command that is given by the remote. Same way, like if we have our automation, we have predefined set of rules, and we it can only go that way, because in this car, for example, I have front, back, forward, backward, right, and left. I can't make the car go round and round, because there is no set of rules that they have built in the remote for that, because it has only been designed to do these four things. So this comes under RPA, because in this we have to define the steps and do it. It performs repetitive action but cannot think or adapt, because in this we are just passing the command. It in that there is no brain of it itself, so they can't decide, like if I'm doing certain things again and again, there should be a better way to do it or store that data somewhere. So there is no nothing like that. In that we can't do anything. Now, the third part is, if an obstacle appears, the child must manually steer it around around the obstacle using the remote. Like I'm riding a car in a park, and a person came in front of me on the road, so I have to divert my car and go through that. There is no mind of itself to bypass it directly. So in this the same way we do in the RPA. We have to tell, if this exception occurs, do this. If this happens, then do this. This happens, do this. So all these things we have to set before doing the automation. So this comes under RPA. So now in the context of automation, the remote control car represent a robotic process automation. It in this we are trying to automate the repetitive tasks that we were doing, but only on a set of pre-programmed instruction. It cannot handle anything outside of that. So this is the main thing in that, because it can only do that which we have designed it to do, nothing more than that. It doesn't have a brain of its own. So this comes under RPA. Now, when things move forward, we got latest cars. So in this cars, like I'll give you a great example of this. Like, have you seen the new vacuum cleaners that we have in the house, the vacuum robots? So it maps your whole house, and it knows where a certain things has kept and where the dirt is and where the house, or like where is my bed, where is my table, where is my sofa. So everything, it maps your complete ground. And when it is running, if it has sensors on the front of it, if it's so like you are standing on the front of it, the sensor will detect that you are standing there, and it will not go there. It will take a diversion route and go outside of the way to do that. So we have not designed it to do that. It is intelligent enough to make sense that the sensor has told you, like somebody is standing in front of you, so you have to take a diversion and go in front of that obstacle. So is the best example that we can think of. So I'll give you an like autonomous car, like we have seen self-driving cars. This can be an example of agentic, because it is continuously learning data. Because whenever we do anything in that, we are passing data to it. Like when we tell them, like go, the person is standing in front of it, you have to stop, you have to go right and go straight. We can't set rules, because it can be a person, it can be a truck, it can be an airplane. We don't know what is coming in front of that person. It has to be smart enough to make sense of that. And if like 2 3 days, like for the vacuum clean example, at like 2 3 days it is founding like that a same certain location, a obstacle is there. So now it is making sense that they have moved something in that place, because let's just say I have bought a new chair and I have put it at a certain location. So the now vacuum cleaner, after 2 3 days, it has found, after that 2 3 days of working around of that, now it has found that at this certain location a thing has been placed. It has to go around it always. It will not always go there, then see if the obstacle is there or not, and then it can move around, do the work. So this is how the agents work. They can learn from the data. Like they are analyzing the data that you are providing it to run, and it is learning through that. It is adapting. It has a self kind of brain. It is not like a human brain, but it can make sense of those things, of the data that you are providing. The data has to be at a certain level of a quality that it can make sense, like how it is working in the background. So this is a leap to intelligence and independence. No manual intervention is required. It can make sense on its own. The example: the child now has an autonomous car. The car has sensors, a camera, intelligence built in. If you tell a car drive to the other side of the room, it will. Like previously, the environment using the sensor to detect the object, so it will do that. It can plan a best route for you because it knows the map of your room, so it can just detect that, like you have to go from this position to that position. So it will determine like which path is the best suited route for me to go there, because it can analyze your whole room and see what things is placed at which point. It can do that, and it can act itself, like it has perceived itself, planned itself, and it is acting on it itself. It is driving itself, adjusting the route in real time. And if something is happening in the background, it changes its path. As simple as that. So this is how it is happening. So the characteristics: the car is working independently based on its understanding on the environment. So we have just passed the data of the environment, and it is making sense of its own. It adapts to the changes, solve problem without needing explicit information. It is solving the problem. Like we haven't guided them, like this kind of obstacle is there or not. If this kind of obstacle is there or not, it is detecting it on its own and making sense of that. Then it's goal oriented. You just give it the path, like you have to go there. It will do it. It will recalculate. It will do anything that it has to do, but it will at the end of the day reach at that point, and it can do that very easily. Now, in the context of automation, autonomous car represents agentic AI, because they all have been connected to a machine learning model at the back end, and through that, the data that you are passing is being analyzed by that machine learning model, and it is making sense of that. The prompt that you say, like for example, if you'll notice in Zoom also, when we record any meeting, it record the transcript too. So whatever I am saying, because sometimes accent can be of a different country. I'm talking to a person who is sitting in a UK, so they have a different accent, but by the context of what we are talking, they are making sense of that and then transcripting it. So it has a brain of its own, making sense of the data that we are providing. It can be a thing like we are saying certain words in certain context, the meaning of that word completely change. So that kind of thing, it has to make sense of it, and it can easily. Okay, so now we have understood how the journey from no automation to agentic automation has reached. So in this between, like we take an example of real world. So before, like when there was no computer, people were doing everything manually. Then Excel came, a bit of automation like came. Then UiPath and tools like that came, coding languages came, and then we started to build a lot of automations. We can solve our work. And when ChatGPT came, like, have you thought like before ChatGPT, if you have to write an email, you were doing so many things, you grammatical correct or not, what should I write? Anything like that, we don't know what to do. Like we were consulting with our friends how to do that, but now after chat gpt we can just ask it. It has all the data. It is making sense of the context that you are telling it. It can even solve the basic grammatical mistake. You just have to give it the context, the prompt, and it can do that for you. So after chat gpt came, things started to boom. So every automation wants to be connected to a machine learning model at the background, the large language model that we have, like ChatGPT, Anthropy. So many models are running nowadays. So it connects to that model and it makes sense of the data that you are passing. So now we understood how the things are working. Now we see how we can create an agent in UiPath. So I hope you guys have your cloud platform ready. So if not, just go to cloud.uipath.com, log in there. If you don't have an account, just create an account. And when you come on the home screen, this is what you will see. So here you can directly click on agents, and we can go to the agent builder and click on that. If you are not seeing that here, just go here, and here also you can see agents. So just go there and click on agents. You'll be able to see what is happening. So this screen will come up, and please try, if you have the system with you, we can try it along the way so that you guys are also learning. We are not gonna do much because I know agentic is a kind of a new thing. Everyone is learning, everyone is adapting to it. So we are just gonna use a few a bit of like an easy example to see how we can create it, how the agent builder platform is, and how we can utilize that to make agents. So this is it. So now we have came here. Now you can see build your agent now. We'll just click here. It will load the page for us. So now you can see it has came us to a design studio where we can just create a project, create an agent. So in UiPath, like to create a certain agent, we have to pass it some data. Like you have to do this certain task as as an agent, and this will kind of the data that will provide. But UiPath has an autopilot model to provide you even that data, like what should be your agent look like, because the data that we have to provide to the agent be in depth, because we it has to make sense. Like it should cover certain scenarios, what kind of data it will cover, what kind of things you should do. So it should be a the prompt should be good enough to make sense of that data that we're trying to do, but we are trying to achieve. So for that, UiPath has a capability called autopilot. So in this, we can just write a short and crisp prompt, and it can generate the system or the user prompt for you. Like it is so easy for that. So for example, I wanted to create an agent in which I will just tell that agent what my mood is right now, and it will just suggest me movie, TV shows, and a Spotify playlist, and probably a quick snack to try. So let's just try that. Uh, Sorry. Create an agent that will ask the user for their mood and can suggest movies and movies, comma, TV shows, and Spotify playlist, and some snacks to eat. Great. Just a simple prompt. We are like just a snack to eat. Now we'll just click on create agent. So by that prompt that we have provided, it will create a system prompt for you and a user prompt from you. So to create any agent, we use this kind of prompt, because you can see when I hover it on that, system prompt means define an agent specific role, goals, rules, and operational constraint. Provide clear guidelines for expected behavior, actions to take or avoid, and how to process information within its designated function. So this is the system prompt that we have to provide. It should contain all these things so that the agent knows what its roles and responsibility is and how it should respond in certain scenarios. So we have to give it that. And the second thing is user prompt. In that user prompt, you'll see like define your task and provide necessary details for the agent to accomplish the goal. Simple. So now UiPath has done this task for us. Now it has created suggestions for us for the arguments and for the prompts. So we can just review it here directly. If we'll review it, we can just accept, review. You see, you are an entertainment and snack recommendation assistant. Your role is to suggest movies, TV shows, Spotify playlists, and snacks based on the user current mood. Always be empathetic and tailor your recommendation to match the user emotional state. If you are unsure about a mood, ask for clarification. Provide desire and thoughtful suggestion for each category. So are you seeing like by a simple prompt, it has made a detailed prompt for us so that we can just guide our agent like what kind of things you have to do. It has done our job so easy. So we'll just accept this. We are happy with this prompt. So in use now, then second prompt is the user prompt. We'll review that too. The user prompt. Hello, I'm here to suggest some entertainment and snack based on your mood. How are you feeling today? And if you see the mood is a variable here because that the user will provide. So it has already suggested like this kind of argument is required as an input to work on it. Based on your mood, here are some recommendations. Movie, provide a movie recommendation on the suits the mood. TV shows, Spotify playlist, and snack. I hope these suggestions help enhance your mood and like it has provided in this much detail. Will suggest it, and you'll notice like I have accepted this suggestion. So in that it has created an argument here, and you can also see it in the input panel here. This is the data manager panel. Here we can see what are the input variables and what are the output variables it has created for us. Argument specifically. So input argument will take the input from us, like what we want to pass the data to, what my mood is, and the output will be like what are the four things that we want to take from the agent, like movie recommendation, TV show recommendation, Spotify playlist, and a snack suggestion. So this is all the things that it want to do. Like to create an agent, we have to have a system prompt and a user prompt. Now it has provided us both, and also the input argument and the output argument, it has provided us both. It has made our job so easy in that area. Okay, Nishant, I'll come to your question just after this point. So now we have seen this and now we wanted to run it. So you'll notice we have few things here. Now we have done the autopilot part. So now I'll just cover like how does the actual data, like the studio works in it. So in the right panel, if you'll see, it has a property panel. So in this property panel, as we are creating an agent, it asks which kind of GPT model or LLM model you want to use for creating this agent. UiPath has these free agents for us to be created. We can use any one of them. And if you have your organization own specific model, you can also link it here and use that. So for now, I'm just using GPT 4.0 to 24 version because that is suggested by UiPath right now. I don't want to use my organization model in a testing purpose, so I will not. And temperature is something which can be like, let's just say, like GPT model can be hallucinating. If we have a LLM model, it can be hallucinating if we want it to be. So temperature means you want your output to be precise or to be created. Precise means it will provide you the exact data, exact things. There will be not much of creativity in the output. It will just search your data and provide you as such. But creativity means it a bit of creativity, a bit of flavor that can be provided by the LLM can be used in this. So I recommend using keeping the temperature between 2.2, 0.25 to 0.5. So let's just say keep it 0.4. If we make it fully creative, it will start hallucinating and provide us things that don't even exist. So recommendation is that, and tokens per response, when you go in depth how the token consumption is happening, so that point you will be able to understand it. But for the basics starting point of view, we are not going to go in much depth into it. Then it has a health score, like whatever you, when you are done with everything, whatever your prompt data is, what's the calculation. Like for now we can see it has given me a 54% calculation because I have given it some data input schema and things like that. So it has given me like this is a good score. But if as I keep improving my system prompt and my user prompt and tool context escalation, it will keep on improving. So it provides you a data like your agent is this much good in this much area. So this calculations helps a lot when you are building a agent for a larger scale. Then comes the test output. When you will start running, the test output will come here. Then we have autopilot again, through which we just got all these prompt. And on the left hand side, you can see there is a project explorer. Let's just rename this project first. If we can, now let's just do that, then we'll rename it. So we can just rename our project. What are the definition, evaluation step? These are all the things that have been created by default by the agent. And if you want to create anything else into it, you can do that. Then the data manager is input and output variables that we have. So how the input variables are created. If you want to create anything new, you can create that. If you want to delete it, you want to rename it, everything you want to do with the variables which are input and output, you can do that too. If there is any issues while running, the issues panel will come here. You can see what the issues are and open development configuration. We can see the development configuration, how it is. Currently, there is nothing much. We have a solution folder and an agent. So nothing much to go in that too. And we can come back to our agent now. So now we have seen, we have created a system prompt, a user prompt, and what are these things? What is tools? What is context? And what is escalation? So tools means like, if I want to run this, do I want to, like, this is a simple example. We are just getting movies. So it can be done with a web search. So if you were guys were in the last session, we created a integration service with Gmail and GenAI activities. So for now, today, we can use that activities. So let's just see, like there are three things that we can use as a tool. One can be any automation, like if you have any other automation created that you want to use in your agent as a tool, that you can use that, like any kind of automation, even if it is a verification, validation, any kind, and going to a certain site and taking input from that site and doing that agent on that, that's pretty easy to do that. You can just create your automation and link that automation here. The second thing is agents. If you have any agent created and you have just published your agent, then you can directly use your agent in this agent as well. This becomes like a multi-agent model. So in a certain agent, like for example, a agent which is running has 5 agents under it, and whenever you give a command, it can take like according to the prompt that you have given, it will pick that agent which is suited for that kind of prompt and run that agent. So that becomes a multi-agent model. So you can create any agent, publish it, and you will be able to see all of your agent here, and you can use that as a tool. Then comes the activity. So every activity that we have in UiPath Studio, we can directly use that as well. So yesterday we connected with Gmail. So if you want to use any Gmail activity here through integration service, and it can be used as an agent, so we can use that. But now let's just see web search, because we connected a Gen AI model through integration service. So we have a web search, because the things that we are trying to achieve in this, we need a web search, like because we want to go to an area where all the movies and everything name it can see according to your mood. So we will give it a web search as a tool, so that you will see it has a web search as a tool, and you will see here we have to select the connection that we have created. There can be more than one. So yesterday we created a connection with my this account. I'm just going to select that, and it will accept that connection, and it can ask like which search engine you want to use. For now, I want to use the Google search engine. And this, the neutral language query search is automatically taken care by the agent. Now, what are guardrails? You will see. So guardrails is something, let's just say that we want to have some fencing on our agent. Let's just say we want to suggest movies which are not for kids, or which are specifically for kids above below 16. So we can have that guardrails installed, so that it is only providing you the data which we have restricted it to allow to see. So that comes under guardrails. It is also a broad topic. Guardrails is very important part when you create an agent for a enterprise engine, because security is the main reason, and we don't want to give any user a security lapse at any certain points. So guardrails is important thing. But for now, when we are learning, we can skip that. So now we have added a tool here. If we want, we can add more than one tool as well. Like it can be automation, agent activities, any of the activity. Like I want to, if I am doing this, I want to send the output on a Slack channel or a Microsoft Teams channel. So I can directly do that as well. And if I'll add more integration services, it will come starting here as well. So we can directly use that from here as well. We just have to create a connection from integration service, just like we saw yesterday, and it will come here. Now it is ready. Now comes the context. So what is context? So let's just say that context is something which will relate. Like for an example, you have a document which have a list of all the movies and things like that you like to watch. Like for my personal preference, I have created a list of all the movies like that I like to watch. And if I gave that document to it as a context, then whenever I ask the agent the question like today my mood is happy, it will provide you the list of movies, shows, and everything that you have provided in the document that we have set as a context as your output according to your mood. So example, any happy movie, like today I'm feeling very happy, so any kind of feel good movie that I have in the list, it will see the name, it will see the web search, like what kind of movie is this, it is a happy feel good movie. So then in my happy mood it will suggest that movie to me. So that how context works. Context means we are grounding the data, like we have to give you the output according to the requirement that we have in the document. I'll give you another example of context grounding. So let's just say HR policies. So when we are in an organization, there are a lot of documents that are there in HR policies. So I can't remember all of them. So what I will do, I will create all those, I will have all those documents as a PDF format or a Word format with me. I'll create context grounding with that. And I'll create an agent that whenever I'm confused about any policy, I'll come to the agent, type my like, I want to know about my leave policies. What are the leave policies and international travel policies? What are that? So it will read all of your document, and whatever specific area that you want to have the answer for from the policies, it will just provide you that from the context, not from Google, not from any LLM model, just by making sense of the data that you have provided to it. So that means context. So it is getting the context of the things that you wanted to have as an answer. So that is a really good topic. You can explore that as well. Then comes the escalation. Escalation means we want to have a people in a loop. Like if this certain scenario came at a threshold of this, like if I am asking movies and not movies, for example, let's just say HR policy. So if anyone is asking about post policy, so you want to have add a layer of escalation. Like if they are reading about post, there must be something happened with them. So you want to talk to them, whatever things is that. So you can add a level of escalation. Like if anything important is coming, you can go to directly to a assigned person and they can help you out in that. So a human in the loop part, like before, everything can't be automated. Some things we have to keep the human in the loop for approvals, for uh, any kind of sort of thing. So that can be done through escalations, because we want to have a human in the loop for certain scenarios that are important, where person health is related to, where human life is depending on any kind of medical field work. We can't just solely like solely take answers from the model. We have to have a person in the loop so that they are aware of those things. So, but in our model, we are just asking about movies, TV shows, and snacks. So I don't think there is an escalation required here. So we can do that. And if you also wanted to know all about the studio, you can just take a tour here. You will find that button at the bottom and you can just click it and it will guide you what the things that we have in that. So all those things we have done. We are ready for testing this agent. I hope everyone is with me. If you are, like, just send a thumbs up or chat message in the chat so that no, you are getting till this point and you are seeing how the agent is working. I'll continue, but you can send the message in the chat. Even a thumbs up is fine. Keep doing that. Okay, now we want to test it. How we can do that? So I wanted to test it at my machine right now. So we can just do test on cloud. Let's just do that. Now it is asking like, but uh, is anybody's mic on? Please, can you turn your mic off? Thank you. So now we want to, when we are here to test it, you can see it is asking for our mood because we have given that as an input argument. So what is your current mood right now? So I'll say my mood is, what do you want to be? Mood is energetic. My spelling can be wrong, don't judge me, but it can easily make sense of that spellings and show you. Show before running test, no, save and test. Now you'll see when we have provided the prompt, like my mood is energetic and it has started running my agent. So you can see the execution trail here. So now the agent is running, it has made a LLM call through chat GPT model and output is here. Like in few 3 or 4 seconds, it has given us the output. So now let's see what the outputs are. My mood is energetic. That's the input that I have provided. Output movie recommendation. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, a movie, a good recommendation. I haven't seen it. Maybe I will. TV recommendation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That I have seen. A really good show. Spotify playlist, Feel Good Friday on Spotify. So you are noticing like it knows that today is Friday. And if I am making a Spotify recommendation for my energetic mood, it is recommending me Feel Good Friday. So that means it's know about all the things that are happening. It know what current date and time is, and it is making that as an input as well. So it is making all of those things and providing you with the output that is best suitable for your job. So it is doing that. Snack suggestion, trail mixed with nuts and dried fruit. Munching probably before this. So this is how we can create an agent. As simple as that. We have just created a small agent in front of you by this prompt. I think we have few things in the chat. Let me take that side by side. Okay, Nishant. It says insufficient fund, your account doesn't have enough credits to complete this source. Okay, so I think you are using a community account and your pro trial is expired. So you can either wait for it to be reloaded again, or you can either start a pro trial. And if that is not feasible, you can connect with UiPath if they can provide you some free trial, because that in the community version, it provides you limited number of units because it has to run the autopilot that also runs on AI units, and the tokenization that is happening for the LLM model that calls we are making that also consumes unit. So you have to check if you can enable the pro trial again. And if not, you'll have to find a different way. Okay, we are good with this. Anything anybody want to ask, anything, or you want me to create one more agent? We can do that. We have time. We can create a small agent, one more small agent as well. What do you guys recommend? I'm waiting for the chat answer. Where do you put AI API key? API key. So we are not putting any API key in it. So by default, when you create an account, so if you go to the admin and there will be some AI units or agentic units. So that way you can just do it. Okay. How do we publish the agent and what are the roles of tools here? How I can integrate agents with other agents or RPA bot? Okay. So let's see that. So are you seeing this button publish here? So we can just click here, give it a name like my first agent. Sorry, spelling is wrong. First agent, and my location is my workspace, and I'll publish it now. Now that when that is published, if you'll go here, oh, let me create another project, agents, solution 2. Hard. Okay, so now meanwhile it is loading. So when you publish it, now that package is published to your orchestrator, how just like we normally publish our UiPath RPA packages, how we published our processes to the orchestrator, now it has published. And now when you go to the tools and open that agents package or agents button again, it will show you that agent that we have previously created. But before publishing, I would recommend change the name of the agent. I have not changed it, so it can be confusing to make sense what agent is there or what not. So do change your agent name in that. What can we have an agent with example of context grounding? So Anikesh, I don't have any document as of now, and I don't even have set it up context grounding on my machine for this purpose, but I can tell you how we can do that. So for that, you have to firstly go to the automation ops. There is a separate video of context grounding on YouTube by Mukesh. If you want to see that, it solely explain how we can set up context grounding and we can just directly use that in our studio. Please create one more agent. So we'll create a quick more one more agent as well. So in this, we have to create some role like a product role, AI trust layer. In that, there is a role of agent as well. I have not set it up. Do watch that video. It is a complete process of 20 minutes to set up context grounding and then use that is easy, but setting up is a certain requirement from the governance policy. So when we enable a policy here, then we have to go to orchestrator, and then when your everything is set up, you will see the indexes here. So then you will have to, because I have not set it up correctly, so it is not allowing me to create context grounding. But if you have done everything correct, you can just go to index and upload your document, like uploading your document in a storage bucket, and then go to indexes and create a context grounding model for that. It is simply as that. But let's just say an agent more. Oh, here is home, build your agent. So please create one more agent. I think someone has already shared a documentation how we can create context grounding. So thank you, Vidya, for that. Oh, sorry, Vidya. Thank you, Vidya. You can just read this documentation, how we can set up context grounding. And even if you will go to YouTube and see, do like search like context grounding in UiPath, you'll be easily able to see how we can do that.
There is a video in the link that is attached recording.
Great.
This was by Manoj. Yeah.
Oh, great. Manoj,
Yeah.
great person. So you can say that Manoj Batra is a great person. So you can just watch his video. He has guided how we can create context grounding and use that in our automation. Just like that, we go there, we refer it, which document we have to do that, and just it will get linked. So now, second agent, what we can do for that is, so when I post on LinkedIn, a big task for me is to find a caption for that. So let's just create an agent who can help me with that. create an agent that can write captions for LinkedIn. Okay, simple agent because I can use it because when I'm posting it things that I want to go through chat GPT again and again or any other model to refine my caption. So we can do that by this. Okay, let autopilot do its magic and we will wait for a few seconds. Now it is working. It has generated a system prompt. Let it generate everything else. User prompt, arguments, input schema, output schema, tools, can recommend you tools. Now, can you tell these agents can be used in an industry apart from our simple agents? Yes, Nisha, we can use that agents. Like the example that I gave you for HR policy, I literally created that with context grounding in my office's agent force area, where we have units and everything set up through AI trust layer. And that HR policy chatbot we are using in our organization in some areas. I created it for a client for that particular area. So that is being used. So they are just going to the prompt and asking like what are the leave policy and what is the policy for moving to a different location of our office. So that is happening. So that is one example. And there can be other examples too. Like don't like think of agentic as a single source of answer. What you can do, you can have like, for an example, I'm doing a process automation, like I'm streamlining a process. In that there is some input data that is coming on the mail and that it has to trigger with that certain data, but the data that is coming on a mail is not up to the mark what we require as an input. So we can use agent in that way as well. Like agents are not necessarily used for the small tasks. We can use agents to create a whole streamlined process. Like the email is coming through integration service, we'll add an integration service part. Through that the email is being read. Now the summarized gen AI activity can be used to make sense of that data, summarize that data, and then through that summary it can just we can use that to do the second process that we have already created a process automation for that, and that can be passed as an input. So it can streamline your whole process. There is a UiPath maestro in that. Through that we can do all this in a simple way. It is just a wrapping for that. We create agents here, like whatever we want to do with our agents, and create a streamlined process for our organization in that. It can be of that use. Try out to think of that way. These simple agents are just example because this is a student edition of hackathon. So I just want to give the gist to the student like how it can work, because if you'll go to the corporate thing at a start like an industry level agent, it is not very easy for the student level person to understand how the industry is working because they don't know the business. So if you are interested in that, you can just think of it that way and try to make sense how we can utilize that, because we are streamlining a whole process, not just a particular part of a process. So this is how we can utilize it. Okay, before the time is ending, thank you for understanding, able to see huge potential. Great. System prompt. Let's just review that. You are AI assistant specialized to writing and engaging and professional caption for LinkedIn posts. La la la. I'll accept that. User prompt. Let's review that. Post type, content summary, tone, direct audience, desired outcome. We can accept that, but I'll change it for a bit for the purpose. I just tell you the post type and create it because I don't want to go in depth in all those areas right now. So for that, I'll have to create a variable post type. Post underscore type. Now the variable argument is created. Output argument is content. Any tool if we want to use that. I think LLM is just fine for this. No tool will be required. So we can just directly run it if there is no more suggestions. No. Okay. Test it. Oh, I didn't provide it any status, but still it's running. Oh, no, it failed. Delete it. Generate from payload. Post type. Integer number string. String is fine. Post underscore type. It's not accepting this. Like I've created this argument, but it's not accepted it. Okay, never mind. We'll just give you an idea. We can go in depth and debug it when we are making it for enterprise level. But I think you got an idea how the agents are working. Can we create an agent that can read data from PDF or image and provide it into a JSON structure format? You can create an agent and read data from it, but it will require an integration service connection for that because it doesn't have a CV. So you'll have to make an integration service that is reading that data, and then it can provide you that output as well. So agents can be more helpful when you have integrations in your process. So then you can do that. J, post type is not same. Oh, I must have misspelled it. No worries. I hope you just get an idea like how agents are and how we can utilize that. Autopilot seems pretty good at generating the prompt, but have you ever had a scenario where you had to refine your specific use case a bit more precisely? I feel Autopilot outputs so much good as your input to it is. Yes, there will be some scenarios when you are doing the business process. So these are some random processes. When you are doing some business processes, at that point, the autopilot will not be able to get an idea how the business is working. So at that point, you have to go in depth of the system prompt and the user prompt to refine that because that is the main area that will understand because they don't understand the business like how you do, how you want to do create an agent because business has certain rules and responsibilities. It has some certain guardrails as well. So for that, you have to do that. I hope I answered your question, Anikesh. Looks good. Uh, we can just start with Q&A if you guys have. I'm open to that now. Share it. Any Q&A, any questions, anything you wanted to ask about it, anything other than that?
Yeah. Before we start the Q&A, I'll stop the recording.